qabyaaladii waa dareen wax duxa iyo daawo ma leh ka daran duumiye xanuun ka daran cudurrada wax dila ka daran oo daawo ma leh bulshada way doorisaa waxay dalagtaa kasmada waxay dumisaa hanaan waxay damisaa ilays xaqay la dagaal
iimaanka allah idinka qaade maxaad ka hesheen war maxaad ka dheefteen maanta magaalooyinka aan muxuu ahay weligeedba dhib ka dhicin weligeedba aan qabiil la isu laynin labadii isxigtay ee dariska ahayd jifada ayade waa dhalatay weligood aan islaynin ayaa maanta muxuu ahay qoorta isugu jira meelay ku dhammaanaysa miyaad garanaysaa maya labadii shalay wada socotay ee jifa ahaan u wada socday ee dadka wada dulminayay ee ree hebel u wada dagaalamayay isgarab socday ayaa maanta ilaahay isku sallidaya shalayna ayagoo wada socday qabaa'isha iyo dadka kale la wada dagaalamay tolla ayay baa lagu hayay maantana dhexdooday ka tolato ilaahay baa isku saliday laana labadii dulmi isu kaalmaysata ilaahay sunnadiisu wax way inuu iyaga isku diro xagee gaadhay marka maalmaha waxaad arkaysaan magaalada Nairobi reer walba iyo jifo walba calan bay samaysatay calan dawladaanu calan ku aqoon jirnay jifo walba calan bay samaysatay damaashaad iyo xafladaan Nairobi lagu qabanayaa maanta waa maalintii reer hebel maalintii waa maalintii jifo hebel wadooyinka la marayaa xafladaan la qabsanaya ree hebel baana la dhaha calankanagu waa ka calamada kale waa ka duwan yahay iimaanka allah idinka qaade maxaad ka hesheen war maxaad ka dheefteen calan qaad oo durbaantun oo shir qabo oo orod oo wareer maxaad dheefsatay maxaad heshay maxaad faa'iiday junuunkan iyo waalidani maxay tahay miyaadan xisaabtamayn maxaad ka heshay maxaad ka faa'iiday waxaad sugtaayay waxa weeye inaad qaabkaana ku tagto dulligaana ku dhimato burburkaana ku tagto adiga oon faa'iido adduun hayninna aakhiro rabbiga aad u galbato rabbiga markaad u galbato ood u tagtana maxaa kaa horreeya qabiil wax ma ku taraya adduunku wax ku tari waaya warkii dagaalka ay geliyeen ee soo dhaawacmay ee xubnihii sii waayey baa masaajidda ka baryootamaya taajiriintoodii iyo madaxdoodiina koob shaaha u shubi maayaan ayagaana halkaa gaadhsa miyaadan xisaabtamaynin dhallinyaraa tahay mustaqbal baad leedahay oday baad dagaal ku geliyey siyaasi baad dagaal ku geliyey xubnahaagii baad ku soo weyday bannaankaa lagu tuuray isbitaal xataa lagu geyn maayo koob shaahna lagu shubi maayo carruurtaadii way ogoontowmaydi meeshana loo dawarayaa koob shaaha loo shubi maayo xaaskaagii nin la'aan bay noqotay waa la guursanaya waa lagu farxayaa rag baa muxuu ahay la seexanaya war miyaadan xisaabtamaynin maxaad ka faa'iiday qabiil iyo qabyaala maxaad ka faa'iiday maxaad heshay adduunkii dulowday waxba ma haysid
walaalku waa maxay macnihiisu walaalku waa ninkaad guushiisa ku faraxdo guuldarradiisa ka naxdid dhibtiisu ku dhibto waxalkiisu wanaag ku yahay walaalka caynkaasu ku yahay ninka walaalaatiina hooyaabay
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري وأحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم. It's Mama Leila. This video will be mostly English, but I would also use some Somali phrases. So if you don't speak Somali, don't be disappointed. You would understand the whole content if you listen to the whole video. Anyway, it will be about qabyalat and tribalism and the Somali diaspora being the reason a lot of chaos. Not the main reason, but some of the main reasons why Somali tribal conflict continues in the Somali coast. Because they are fueling this tribal conflicts. They are sending money for them to kill each other. They are sending money to support tribalist leadership. And, you know, the Somalia election is coming soon. And I will be paying special attention because Farmajo now he's in Mogadishu. And I know most Farmajo supporters, a lot of Farmajo supporters who claim Somali Nimo or who claim that they for the unity. But in reality, when Farmajo lost last election, they showed their true color. And I was extremely disappointed because I was so extremely proud of many of them. I was paying attention to their social media. The way they were were giving anti-Qabil sentiments. And trust me, I am someone who can see stuff most people can't. I can tell bullshit and not the bullshit and the genuine human being. But sometimes I have like a almost innocent child heart. I want the best of the best for Somali people. I want Somalis to become brotherly, walalo, and qabyala thing. I can see how it's going to destroy our people in the long run. So I somehow shut down my ability to predict, to see things, and insist that they meant it, but a lot of them, they really didn't mean it. It was qabiyalat oriented politics, and it's very sad and very sad to see this, including people my own tribe in Somaliland and from my mom's side in the. But let me share with you what happened to me personally, how qabiyalat impacted me. I came from a household that has both qabil, from north and the south. Most Somalis who come from a very distinct two completely different qabils, they don't have qabiyalat issues. Most of them. So, what was my point? I have a brain fog. Sorry. Yeah. My point here is my own personal experience is because when I was targeted by the deep state, which is the Zionist power structure, the most powerful entity in this country and probably the Western Hemisphere, when they target people, they use people who look like them. So in my case, they used African Americans, since there were not many Somalis in LA, even though they had few Somalis from San Diego who were part of this and few Somalis who were in Los Angeles they used. And it was surprising for me to know that, because I can see them. A lot of time people don't understand how spiritual a gift, and Allah, when God gave you intuition that is extremely potent, I can actually see some of the stuff, not see them visually, but I can see it. I don't know how to explain it. I can sense it and I can see it, and I can a lot of time hear them. And when they use these people, at that time, I wasn't extremely intuitive, or my spirituality didn't blossom, because spirituality blossoms when you're under attack. Literally. And that's how my spirituality blossomed, because I shut it down. Remember, I spoke on my spirituality. As a child, I used to be able also to see and know some things that most people don't know. But I shut it off because I was so afraid of it. And now it came back to me at the age of 40 when they targeted me. It was 2016. I was about to turn 40 when I was microchipped in India. Then I was microchipped multiple times in the United States because they found out I was extremely resilient. The chip that they put in my brain was not enough to destroy my life. I was using all other faculties within my body and outside of my body, because people don't understand how the energy system works, that when you have a spiritual gift, you can actually function. Even if they chip your brain, you could still be extremely resilient, because you're not only limited to your physical brain, because the brain it's important, but it's very much so useful for the memory things and things that are not sustainable. But when you are spiritual, you would have other faculties you could use. I'm not going to get into it. My point on this video is about tribalism and qabiyalat and how it's destroying our people. But Somalis are absolutely wonderful human beings. They love each other. We are one of the few Black people who help each other, because most Black people don't help each other. Even if we are different tribes, Somalis would come and help each other. If that person, his or her tribe is not on that location, other tribes would help them. Especially if they are in diaspora, where a foreign land, okay? Somalis stick together. And that's why they call them the African Jewish, because they are good with business, good with money, good with, helping each other. And they very almost stick to each other more than any other African or black people. And even Arabs and Indian, they don't help each other like Somalis do. My point here is, when I was targeted in LA, they used black people to attack me. Somehow they convinced black people through the evil churches that actually were part of, this has nothing to do with religion, by the way. An African American would be the first one to agree with me when I say this. There are a lot of evilness that take place in these churches because they are part of the intelligence agency. They are part of the mind control, especially the mega churches, and part of the CIA perception and mind control. So they use black people, and for some reasons, they are puppets for the Zionist power structure. So they use a lot of black people, and I love black people, okay? They somehow convince them I hate black people, and I am in this country because of them, and I need to be punished, and I deserve to be punished, and all this talking point that the Zionists use. But the truth is, it's not the black people that they use that I am here because of them. The snitch class, the Pro, are the same one who killed Malcolm X, are the same one who were anti-black leaders, activists back in 60s and 50s and 70s and so on. So they use the same people who were anti-black America to pretend that they are defending African American from somebody who's African and who hates black people. Let that sink in and let that make sense. But anyway, I digress. Sorry, I'm eating. So they targeted me. They used black people. They try to fuck with my head, because that's what happens when people that look like you attack you and, to isolate you. Literally, it's a psychological game. And they use them all kind of ways. At this point, they're not torturing me with radiation yet in Los Angeles, okay? This is the time I believe they were studying my character and see how resilient I was. At the same time, I was also exploited because I have an immune system that is very unusual. I don't get sick. So the NIH is involved too, National Institute of Health. Sorry, I'm speaking fast, I know. So they used black people to attack me, including some prominent leaders whom I'm not going to mention their names, but they are well known in downtown LA and in Los Angeles. They hired a huge black man to attack me physically in downtown LA by the LAPD, who pretended that they were investigating the same man they sent to attack me, assault me physically. I ended up in the hospital. Then they chipped me again in my optic nerve. Then that didn't stop them to multiple other further to chip me more, because that also didn't destroy me, because I am spiritual. I'm not only operating from my brain faculties, remember. I was kidnapped again from downtown LA, and I had another video I talked about this. I'm not going to get into details. So they kidnapped me in the middle of the day, and they inject me with something, and they is LAPD, Los Angeles Police, and the fire department. I was thrown at the back of the medics of the fire department truck, woke up after 12 hours. It was around 3 p.m. I woke up like sometime after 2 a.m. the next day, handcuffed to the operation table in Los Angeles County Hospital, bleeding for my life, asking them please to release me. I didn't do anything. I was let go. I came home feeling like a shit. I came to my hotel room feeling like a shit, okay? So these people tried to punish me, to destroy my character, and smear the hell out of me. At the same time they're doing all this to me, they also smearing me, telling lies, including to my families. My family, my sister who wants to come to Los Angeles, my case manager she spoke with, and a black woman, by the way, her name is Precious. That's exactly what her name was. And I thought that woman was wonderful. I established a good relationship with her, but you can't trust a snake. She was a snake. And she smeared the hell out of me to my sister. And later on, my sister would tell me what she told her, outrageous lies, just to shock her and to keep my sister away, you know. And that didn't stop my sister and I communicating, by the way. We continued to communicate, but that was the purpose, to tell my family lies about me. And then I have decided finally I'm going to leave LA. Even though at this point they gave me an apartment, I have a housing already. It took them many years. Like it took them like almost 2 to 3 years for me to get a housing. Remember, I have all this education, master's degree. I was in graduate school when they microchipped me. I have already a bachelor degree. I was working in the corporation before I was chipped. I have excellent work history. And I couldn't find a job because the government came after me. Not only government, the deep state, the Zionist power structure. So they made it impossible for me to get a job. And literally, I was houseless, but I was staying in a hotel. And I realized those people who, the government literally, who want to experiment and torture me, they want to contain me like a lab rat. They didn't want to provide me anything. I was denied everything. My civil liberties were revoked. I was not protected. In fact, I was under attack constantly, and I was denied access to anything. The only access I had at this point was a food stamp and, you know, nothing else. And I tried to find a job. I couldn't find a professional job, so I started working at in Beverly Hills in Japanese restaurant. And finally, I get my housing and I have this part-time job. Then I went back to school to get a certification on, you know, on web development. I decided just to go on and I found this wonderful only for women boot camp for web development, front-end web developer. And I became a web developer. And it became even harder to get a job because now I am really marketable. I have this great, wonderful career background, but also on top of that, I am a techie. I can program. And I was extremely good at it. I was one of the top in my class. Anyway, long story short, I decided to move to Seattle. I say, okay, now I am front-end developer. I'm engineer. I have this engineering certification, but also I have wonderful background of management information system in my master's degree, and I have a human physiology bachelor's degree. I can go to Seattle. It's such a booming economy, and it's such a techy city. Let me go Seattle. But on top of that, there are a lot of Somalis, and my sister lives there, and I decided to come to Seattle. I miscalculated that I was actually targeted by the deep state and the government, trying to sabotage everything. I come to Seattle only to find out. Now people are even more jealous because under all this pressure, I managed to get a certification of web development. And I am even more marketable. And they weren't able to destroy my spirit. In fact, I became even more... The more challenge that I was placed under, the more motivated I became. And they say, what's wrong with this bitch? So Les came to her, and that's when they start torturing me, literally radiated. And a lot of these Black and African people who were part of my torturing, I guarantee you, is because of jealousy. A lot of time it's because of jealousy, because who I am and the type of spirit that I have, has nothing to do that I'm Somali, has nothing to do the way I look. Well, sometimes it does, but has nothing to do any other thing but jealousy. But the worst thing I found out when I moved to Seattle is the Somalis who were part of my targeting, mostly women who were part of the Jajus intelligence agency, were Marehan, Ogaden, some Dulbahante and Majerten, basically Daro tribe, and the Somalis who are minority back home. I don't even have to mention them. You know, the other ones. And I consider myself minority, by the way. I'm a queer person. I came from a mixed tribes household. I was completely attacked by government, my own government that's supposed to protect me. And I am, a Black Muslim queer person.